there's some things that I believe are not talked about with that cause people to get stuck in their business. And I wanted to lay out a roadmap to success because it'll help you like visualize where you want to go versus where you are today. And I think this will help focus on how to grow in a way that will sustain and not like burn out really fast. And I've seen that too, where people get started in their business, they make a little bit of money or maybe even, a couple $1,000, and then that business either shrinks or it goes away. Or they quit, or they hop to another company because then they think it's the company that is the problem, which it's not. So, I'm going to talk about these three master skills that I talk about a lot, but I really wanted to do something that was focused just on this because there's three steps or three buckets. I'm going to do a training on all three over the next couple weeks. And the first one are the three master skills because I believe it's the foundation that we need to build upon. Okay. So here we go. So this is why, looking at people's businesses, looking at my business over the last 25 years, I thought, what is going on with people that start out like right out of the gate and they're coming in hot and then they fizzle out. And what really happens is that we will see this when people's warm lists run out. They come in, they talk to some friends, family, colleagues, etc., and they are, excited. They got this new thing, they got these products, they got whatever it is that they have, and they get some people going. Some of those purchases are legitimate, some of them are pity buys. You know how that goes. I'll buy that from her again. Now she's into
Yeah.
candles, now she's into health products, now she's into this, now she's in her travel company, like whatever it is, right? So you get those immediate wins. But then we're told, from the companies, the uplines, the gurus or whatever, it's about you posting more and reaching out more and go through your cell phone and look up all your contacts and send them all a message and that kind of thing. Like who's in your digital Rolodex, which we used to have like regular Rolodex or your black book, right? We go through that and we get our businesses launched off of that, but then it like stops. And then you're like, okay, well, what do most people do nowadays is they start posting on social media. And there's a reason why we get stuck. And this is what we're going to get into is really talking about this. So we want to talk about getting our mindset thinking differently. We're coming into this industry, most people are coming in not from a marketing background and not from a sales background. They're coming in from like school teachers and accountants and receptionists and people that maybe ran a family business or maybe they were a corporate executive, and people come into this industry from all over the place. And there's like all this talk about systems and what we should be doing and following the program and duplicating, but there's real no like hard training on that, or talking about that. And so we want to think differently, thinking of this business as a business, not as something that you join to hope to make money, or you hope it's going to make you, some retirement income, or maybe you can pay off some debt and you're just going to scrape and scrimp your way to getting to some success. I will tell you for a fact, if you treat your business like a business and the professional that you want to become in order to earn a professional income of six figures multi six figures, even seven figures. I mean, nowadays you got to face it. Six figures is like what $50,000 was, 10, 15 years ago. Like six figures is really not a lot anymore, even though people are like, oh, I want to make 10,000 a month. That's really not going to cut it. And if you want to earn just some part-time money to supplement what you've got, that's 3 to 5,000 a month because really in the with all the things that have happened with the economy, the inflation, we have no control over those things. And we have to set our eye on, do we want to have this just be a hobby that's going to cost me money? It's my expensive hobby. Or do I want to earn professional income? So I have to become that professional worthy of earning that income. It's kind of like when an accountant or a doctor or an attorney, they go to school, right? They're earning like, or they're learning, they're learning before they're earning, right? They learn how to have a high, level of skill that is worthy of earning the income. And typically, the higher the income, the earning, the higher the specialized skill. I mean, think about people who are millionaires and billionaires. Actually, we talk more about billionaires because even a millionaire like is not what it was, 20 years ago. And so we're looking at billionaires and they are specialized in something, whatever it is that they're doing. They are specialized, whether they're making widgets in manufacturing or they're coming up with some AI technology. These people are specialists. And that's how we need to be in this industry is this, I want this shift, to happen in your mind and then helping other people that you bring into this to, I am a professional. I am building my set of skills. I'm working on them in order to earn this professional income that I want to earn. Okay. So we've got to be like thinking in a way of like, well, if I'm going to promote my business, how am I going to do that as a professional? And that's how, when I joined the industry, I looked at this like, this was a store that I was opening in the mall, like a kiosk or like a storefront. I treated it as if I had that much invested, which I did. I bought like $20,000 of inventory. I took out a loan for $30,000 back in 2001. I took out a loan for $30,000 to pay for inventory, to buy vendor space because we didn't have the internet back then. I did booths. I did booths and I traveled all over the country with my stuff. And that's how I grew my business. But I looked at it like I want to earn enough money to quit my job that I don't like. I want to be free. I have to treat this like a business. And that's what I did. And I was able to leave corporate America, quote unquote, within 6 months of starting my business. And I was in my 20s when that happened. And I was like, see you later, people, like I'm out. And nobody could believe that I did that, but I treated it like a professional business from the start. I wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to share and I'm going to do this on a shoestring and I'm going to try this and then that. I was all in when I did this. And that's like I said, I took out, imagine being 20 something years old, taking out your $30,000 home equity loan to pay for your business to get launched. That's how much I believed in the industry, how much I believed in myself, and I believed it was the way that was going to set my future, which here I'm still involved in the industry because of the things that I did back then. And I still earn my residual check from the company that I built over 20 years ago. And I wholeheartedly believe it's because I had this mindset of this is a business. I need to become a professional. I invested in my business. That was that part I told you, but I also invested heavily in my skills. I went to every seminar. I would fly all over the place to go to events. Like I remember going to the company trainings. They had these level 1 and level 2 trainings, and those cost, two to $3,000 a piece, and I went to three of them. Like I had $10,000 wrapped up into that training. By 2005, I had $100,000 wrapped up into my professional training for this industry. 2005. I was in the industry only 4 years. And so I find that the people that have this type of I am a professional and I need to get trained. And what do we do when we are going from high school to college? We need to figure out what is our profession going to be, and we invest in those skills in order to get to the level of professionalism to charge whatever it is that like a plumber. Would you want a plumber to come in your house and start ripping apart your pipes if he didn't do his journeyman or her journeyman? No. Would you want a mechanic to get under your vehicle and start messing with stuff if they didn't get their certifications? No. So why do we think in this industry that we're going to earn six figures, multiple six figures on zero like investment into the training and the skills that we have? So I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about, well, I'm just going to post to my profile and I'm going to reach out to some people too. I'm going to consciously promote my business like a business that is out there, like hanging my shingle, right? And I'm a legitimate business. I'm going to treat it that way and I'm going to promote it that way, which means paid advertising. Every business that is successful in the world has a paid advertising strategy. Unless they've gotten to the point where they've got so much momentum in their pipeline and such brand recognition that they can survive off of that. But even the biggest brands, think about the biggest brands, like the insurance companies, they're always doing commercials, right? You see brands that are like, Target doing commercials. Like everybody knows about Target. Why are they still doing commercials? Why is Nike still doing commercials? Because they want to be at the top. And advertising works, even for the network marketing industry. Hands down, it works. We're seeing so many people these days, in companies either flipping to the affiliate model or companies, closing. We're in a time that I think is getting rid of the weak and really focus on strengthening the strong, the pillar companies of the industry, companies that have really good comp plans, companies that have really great products and services, great leadership. Those companies are growing like wildfire, and the riffraff, no offense to anybody in a company that's closed, but the ones that were not strong are cutting, out. They're either going affiliate or they're completely closing their doors. And I believe that this mindset of professionalism is a key for the success of any of these companies. So we've got to go from chasing leads, or I'm going to attract leads, or I'm going to wait for people to like use the product, and then I'm going to upgrade them into a business partner and become a brand advocate. That's a bunch of crap. That is the slowest way you can grow your business. And I'm telling you this because I did that. We'd bring people in on the products, which were awesome, and then we would hope to convert them to business builders. We did not consciously build the list of business builders from the start of their enrollment. We never inoculated them from the enrollment space. We didn't lead with the business, and therefore everybody's businesses grew like this, a very slow incremental 20-year grow. Well, no, that's like, yeah. So when I shifted my mindset in 2012 to learning how to lead with my business opportunity consciously, rebuild my money list. The money list I'm going to get into in a second, but like rebuilding my list, leading with the business opportunity. Even when I was bringing somebody in with the product, I would prospect them for the business during the enrollment. And so this is a very big shift that I believe network marketers need to make in order to survive in the coming years. If you want your company to survive, if you want to survive in your company, this mindset of professionalism, of going from, I'm just going to try to do this to, I'm going to consciously promote my business. I'm going to become the professional that's worthy of earning that income. And I'm going to focus on building my money list. And that will enable me to grow over the years to come. My business is over 20 some years old. We're like peaking on 25. I have not worked it in 10 years. I still earn a check that most people wish they had. And the reason why is because I built my money list and I built it. I was always adding new people to that list. Oh, I mean, I had boxes and boxes before we had all this internet stuff of like pages of people's contact information, shoe boxes of business cards. I remember one house that I was moving from and I was packing everything up and I opened a shoebox and it was full of people I did not even remember to follow up with. It was a shoebox of contact information. Now we've got better ways to organize, right? We got all these great CRMs and we got ways to keep track of things and reminders and stuff, but that effort that I did pays me even 10 years after I have sunsetted actively building. And that's why I know it's because I built a money list and I always added new people to it. I was always looking for prospects, people I thought would be great business partners, people that would be of leadership, their characteristics. And that is why that business got to over $2.5 million a year in sales because of this exact thing I am telling you. So the three master skills that I know need to be learned, these are the ones that are going to enable you to effortlessly grow. And these are the things that you teach your people that come in too. So you will find there's the first thing that you have to do is you got to get prospects. And so there's so many ways to prospect. And there's, especially nowadays, we've got the internet, we've got offline, we got radio, we got TV, we've got direct mail, we've got asking for referrals. There's all these different ways. And I always encourage people to get good at like two or three of those ways and to combine, what you really are good at and let that do the work. I personally believe you have to have an online strategy, and the online strategy is not posting and praying. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm a very big, strong advocate of paid advertising. I've been working with network marketers for since 2016, showing them how to run ads for their business because a business that is professional that wants to earn professional income needs to run paid advertising. And you either learn how to do it the right way or you learn how to do it in an expensive way that either takes time or money out of your pocket and you often never get the results. So
Hmm.
prospecting is adding new people to your list every single day, at least 2 to 5 or more. 2 to 5 is a bare minimum number of adding new people to your money list. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the money list in a minute. But these are people that you're actively seeking for your business and your products, both. I also like leading with the business opportunity. If I was to build tomorrow, I'd be leading strong with the business and I would be people that said no or maybe, I would say, let's get you on the products or the services, depending on the company, right? And then if I had campaigns going for the business, I mean, the products, I would be closing during the enrollment for the business. Are you keeping your options open to earning additional income, type of thing. So you've got to get good at prospecting, which means opening conversations with people you don't know, which means finding people. Where are you going to find them? Are you going to do it at the Starbucks in the line of Starbucks? Are you going to do vendor events? Are you going to do radio ads? Radio ads, minimal investment into radio is ten to $15,000
Yeah,
for a
I can do
radio
that.
ad. TV ads or more. I mean, so you have to have a strategy to do this because you're going to run out of friends and family very fast. And then you hit that wall in the comp plan, which is usually about 20% of the way in the comp plan where the company has a bottleneck of people that can't get beyond that rank. Every company has it. It's always in the first third of the plan. So you hit that wall, and then what? Most people quit because they think that this doesn't work, but really they don't. They have a prospecting problem. Because if you have a ton of prospects, you have a flood of prospects, you will have a business that grows for, all the time to come that you're in business. But most people are not spending enough time on their prospecting. 80% of the time that you are spending on your business should be finding new prospects and talking to new prospects, not reorganizing your office, not creating flyers, not doing a team training, not whatever, trying to motivate your team. It is finding new people. 80% of your time should be finding new people and talking to new people. My business flatlined from 2005 to 2012, and I was grinding away 80, 90 hours a week, and my business was not growing at all. And the reason why, looking back, is I was in management mode. I was not talking to new people. I was doing all the work for my team. I was doing everything. And I had stopped prospecting. And when I got some strategic coaching, like every time I've ever had a major breakthrough in my business, it's always been because I've had a coach. This coach said, you need to get back to business going like prospecting like you just joined. So I did. I went like with my hair on fire back in the way I did, in 2001, and prospecting 80 to 90% of the time. New people, meeting new people. This is still before the internet. 2012, social media was on, but it, was not what it is now. And we just started being able to run ads, couldn't figure it out yet. So I still had to rely on the other ways of growing my business. And when I went back to prospecting 80 to 90% of the time, my business doubled within a year, and when I had been stuck for 8 years. So prospecting is the key. It is the number one thing here. And most, like when I looked at the industry, when I decided to like kind of like move into serving the industry, the biggest thing I thought is like people need prospects. That's why I chose to show people how to run ads, even though I love offline building as well. Because if you don't have prospects, you don't have anybody to enroll and you have nobody to launch. You have no leadership skills to practice. You have nobody to invite to your events if you don't have prospects. So, prospecting and mastering these skills is the first one that is essential for growth in your business. So, then the second one is getting people enrolled, which means presenting your business and getting them from prospect to I'm in. And what happens here is development of verbal skills, so you don't sound like a weirdo, texting skills, like texting through the phone, which includes like Messenger, which includes SMS or WhatsApp. It's just like conversation through a text means versus verbal on the phone or Zoom, which you should be doing both. And then also like I said, presenting skills. And it's not always presenting like I'm doing right now. It could be presenting the business, presenting the business and then presenting the enrollment opportunity, segueing from prospect to come into the business. So that's working on these soft skills in conversation. I find that a lot of people, we get them going with their enrollment, their prospects, but then they get stuck at the skill level in doing the enrollment. They can't convert a prospect to a customer or a business builder because the development of these skills needs to be done. I will tell you that enrolling is where so many people get stuck because they don't have the right words. They feel awkward, they feel pushy, and they don't believe in themselves. They may have a question about their company, something doesn't feel right. Maybe they think their products are too expensive. Well, internally they're like, well, they have that issue that comes out in the enrollment. And when people are having a hard time enrolling, it's usually a them issue. It's a skill and a belief issue that needs to be handled and worked on. So enrollment, being able to take somebody from prospect to consuming or partnering in business is the second skill. It's the essential master skill that enables people to grow now and grow in the long term. So, getting good at opening conversations, presenting the business, handling objections, asking for referrals, following up, and following up even more, putting systems into place that are automatically going to nurture your prospects so you're not constantly doing all the manual reach outs. I mean, there are things to do in this to learn how to do the enrollment so that you are reaping the benefits of all the prospecting work you're doing. Now, the third master skill is launching. So, launching means two things. You've got your business partners that come in and they're like, I'm in, I want to be a brand ambassador or distributor or whatever your company calls it, liaison, consultant, there's so many things, right? Really, it's a business builder. And so you've got the path to launch your builders and help them do the same thing of prospecting, enrolling, and then being able to launch their new people. We call that, right, duplication, so that they can get going. And we've got to have things in place to help them get launched for success and keep them going for the long term and not quitting. Those little quick starts, right? They come in, they're like a firecracker. They sparkle and then they get some, enrollments and then they poof, they pop and they're gone. We don't want that. We want long-term retention of even the business people. Now, the customers, the same thing. People that are consuming the product, the services, we want to retain them for a long time. So we've got to have a plan in place to do that. Product education, auto ship programs, subscription programs. How are we going to nurture those people in the long term so that they stay? I'm still getting paid on people that I introduced to the company 25 years ago. We did a lot of education. We did a lot of leveraging tools and things in place so people had a belief shift and consumed the products for decades. And so there's a launching for customers and a launching for brand partners that are in business. And sometimes people are hybrids, or they'll start out with one and they'll become the other. That's fine. But there's got to be a plan for that. So that skill needs to be there in order and have this plan, because everybody thinks that prospecting and finding the leads is really the issue that keeps their business from growing. But I will tell you, it's the enrollment skills and the launching skills that are where people really get bottlenecked. We got to get the prospects. Okay, now we got the prospects. Now we got to make sure you can get them enrolled. Okay, there's a big skill,
Now
shift
they're
that needs to be developed. Now we got them enrolled. We got to keep them. We got to keep them going.
yeah.
So that's why I call these the three master skills that are essential for your business. So prospecting here, we've got your two lists. Your first list is your warm market list. These are the people you know when you decide to come into the industry. They're your friends, your family, your social connections, your colleagues, co-workers, people you went to high school with, whatever. But the problem is this is a short-term launch. Like it's like you come in, you talk to those people, you might have like a little some wins, right? You might earn a couple $100, you might even earn a couple $1,000. But that list burns out very, very fast. And if you don't have a second list that you need to build, it's game over. I'm just going to tell you, it's game over. I've seen this for over 20 years. Quick start, crash, because that second list was never developed, and that is your money list. The money list is your long-term pipeline. When you add people to this list and you fill your pipeline, you will earn money now for the immediate enrollments, and you'll earn money over time as people convert from that list to enrollments, whether they're consuming product or they become brand partners or whatever. So that list is the money list. That is the true value. There's people that are in companies right now, they're moving companies or the company flip to affiliate model or closed or whatever, if they have that list, they can move to another company. That is their greatest asset, is the money list, which is the list of people you currently have consuming products, services, or your business opportunity, and it's your prospects. And so that list over time, just, you keep adding to it, adding to it, adding to it, and you get to a point where you hit a critical tipping point where all of a sudden, like exponential growth in your business. And that is when you hit momentum. It's when enough good prospects are added to that money list that tipping point happens. But here's the problem. A lot of people stop adding to the money list once they hit momentum. You've got to still add to the money list because the momentum will fade. I've seen it so many times where people come in, they build with their friends, family, warm market, they get somewhere, they have some influence, they build their list, and then they go like this, and then they start leading their team and they forget about adding people to the money list, and their team starts to flatline or go down. That happened to me, by the way. That I started out, I really didn't have a lot of friends and family, but I did enroll them. And then I went out and I prospected in my community and over, and I added to that money list. Like I said, shoe boxes of contacts and lists, and I had them coming out of everywhere. And then I got to success, I was earning money in my business and doing pretty well. And then I stopped adding to the money list. And I flatlined for 8 years because I stopped adding to the money list. I was not following up with the shoe boxes of people I had, and I was not adding to it. I was resting on my laurels. I was trying to motivate my team. I was doing team trainings, team meetings, team coaching, creating manuals, creating all this stuff. And I was not doing what I should have been doing to keep my business growing. I stopped building my money list. So the warm list runs dry because you have people that are either in or out when you first start. Um, a lot of times the friends and family, it's not exactly the most duplicatable environment unless you approach it in a certain way, but you get through it and you have a limited circle that you're, close to. They say the average person has like 200 people that are really close to them. Nowadays with social media, that reach can be bigger,
Yeah,
but the
way
problem
whatever.
is that people come in and they often don't want to talk to their friends. They don't want to talk to their family. Maybe if you've been in a company before or done a couple opportunities, you're like, I don't want to bug them. They've already heard me twice talking about the new next greatest thing, and now I'm on to another thing. And so there's that issue as well. So the warm list is usually burned very fast. Okay. So now we're talking about building your money list, and it's an intentional list that you're building and adding to every day, 2 to 5 people minimum. Okay. You can do that on a very small budget of ads. Paid ads, Meta, Instagram, Facebook, those are my favorite. That's my favorite platform are the Meta platforms. You can do TikTok, you can do some stuff over there. You can do ads on Pinterest. LinkedIn is very tricky. Chances of getting shut down are very
Well,
high.
you've
Um,
done.
Google ads are
And that's
great,
what
but
she
you've got to
said.
be able to
You
go
they've already
in.
been
A
demonstrated with you.
minimum with Google ads is $50 a day. So you're talking, $1,500 a month just for Google if you're going to plan on doing anything on Google with Google search or placement ads. Okay. You also can put, on your money list is, focusing on content, but in a professional way on your socials. So you're consistently posting multiple times a week, preferably every day. You're posting a very specific, tight, you know, um, topics. You're not all over the place. You're very intentional with your posting, but you can run and put ads behind it to really expand the reach and help with that going. You can do the old school way, in-person networking groups, referrals, was it BNI, Chamber of Commerce, all these things, vendor events. I did all that. I love those events. I probably would still do them. You know, you can do your opt-ins, your lead magnets. You can do those organically. They work way better doing them with paid ads. And then in order to manage that list, you're going to need your CRM. customer relations management. So that is where you will have your
That's where
automatic
PLP comes in. I
sequences
got
through
PLP for that.
text, through email. Your presentations are in there. Your calendar is in there. All the tools that you need. Basically, your digital office is in a CRM. Okay. And it should be like kind of all in one kind of thing. You're going to need everything in there to follow up with your money list to keep the list warm because you can accumulate all these names, phone numbers, emails, addresses, however you're building. But if you don't nurture that list, it goes cold really fast. I mean, really fast within a month. If you're not following up every week with your money list, that list will go dry and it will get cold. And then you will remember a few months from now to send an email and they will all tell you to go, what yourself because
Mhm.
they are like, who are you? But when you acquire that lead, those follow-ups need to be done every day for a series of 30 days. And then minimal once a week, they need to hear from you, or that list will go cold and you will never convert from the money list to your, business if they're not consistently being nurtured. Okay. So adding two to five people a day to your list is a non-negotiable. Your follow-ups, your nurtures, all that is very, very important that you need to do every day. Okay. So your hold on a second. I'm trying to see where is the bottom of this slide. Hold on. What is this one? It's looking here. Hold on. Enrolling. I'm looking at this. I'm like, I can't see the bottom of the slide and what it says. So this is about enrolling. This is the second master skill, okay? So we have your pitching, and we don't need that. If you sound like a pushy sales floor person and you're going to repel the people you want to enroll. So when we're talking to people, we want to be focused on them. We want to be focused on what are their concerns. What are they trying to solve? What problems are they having in their life? Or what things do they want to achieve? And how can we help them get there? So if you're working with health products, you might be helping people with energy or with sleeping better or with whatever solution you have, hormones or kids in their, attention or whatever it is. You're helping them solve issues that they're dealing with every day. Now, the business, it's like, why do they want to do a business? Do they want to leave a job they don't like? Do they want to pay off debt? Do they want to travel the world? Do they want to spend more time with their spouse? These are the things that we do in the enrollment in order to get people to convert. We have to care about them. What do they always say? Like, they need to know how much you care or something like that. There's like a phrase. They don't know, they got to know how much you care or something to that degree. I don't remember what the exact phrase is, but they need to know that you are a person that can help them go from where they are to where they want to be. Now, you also need to have the skills to convert them. Like, you have to be able to say, where do you see yourself getting started? And handling those objections. That's part of the enrollment process is being able to do this. So you can, use scripts that you customize for yourself, but you have to make them yours versus the copy and paste stuff because everybody is using those copy and paste things. They get access to like boards, that app boards, or you get access to team training and they give you the copy and paste scripts. And those are guidelines, but they need to be customized and personalized for yourself. Same with even your advertising and your promotion and your prospecting. Everything now needs to be customized to you. Using canned websites, scripts, copy and paste, any of that stuff is no longer working. You have to have a customized plan, customized follow-ups, customized presentations, or even the ads. Meta knows, like through the platforms, if you're using something that's canned, and they will downgrade or even reject your ads. So that is why you need to learn how to do it. So it's personalized to you because you also want your voice to come through everything. You don't want to sound like, not like generic. It's like, why do some people love to have an interior designer come in their home and make everything beautiful versus somebody that's, trying to IKEA their way into a beautiful home because people want something that feels like them. They want their home to be a home and feel good to them. It's the same with this, with your advertising and your enrollments, your presentations need to be customized to you. So these frameworks need to be about you and who you are. Okay, it's very, very, very important. Okay, so then the third skill we have is the launching, right? We talked about this, getting people going. Most people have no system, they have no plan. They have too much pressure. Like, oh my God, we're going to do this and we're going to have like make all this money and we're going to win the trips and we're going to this and that. And you got to talk to your friends and you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to get people to the Monday night overview and you gotta. And then people are like, whoa, that's not how you launch your new people. And this is why individuals they fizzle out because they get discouraged because they don't have a plan in place for this. Um, Sometimes the upline or the company, their system is not clear and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And there are a lot of companies that I'm seeing now, which is really exciting, who have strong launch programs and retention programs. So combining that with your own voice, your own mission, your own purpose, I highly encourage people to plant their own flag and stand for something in their business. Chemical free, say products. Why would you stand for that? The health of children, the hormonal balance for women, infertility, whatever it is, stand for something. Okay, so that is going to be something that's going to help people, launch and retain. So your simple launch plan template would be to give people this. I'm not going to go super deep in this because launching is like a big thing, but just to give you some idea of the direction it should be, is giving people 3 to 5 things to do to get their business in alignment to get launched. You want people to get some fast wins, which is working with their warm market list. But you also need to prepare them for expanding out of that warm market list. They need to have a vision of that. They need to know that right from the start. And that expectation has to be set clearly. Look, we're going to launch your business. We're going to do a grand opening. We're going to let your friends and family know your business is now open, just like a ribbon cutting. And, from here, you're going to get some people that are going to refer people to you. You're going to get maybe some people buying, maybe some people want to lock arms for you. But we also need to be starting to build your money list. That's if I was bringing somebody in, I would have said exactly that to them. So we want them to start adding to that immediately. We got to get that mindset of business from the start. Okay, so I will tell you, trying to take some people that say they want to do a business and they're not doing a darn thing, and you're trying to motivate them into doing something, that can happen and you get stuck in that management mode and you could be stuck there for decades. I'm not kidding when I tell you, I have people I enrolled over 20 some years ago who never launched, and they're still giving me the reasons today, which I'm not actively building, which is funny when I see them, they still like feel like that to justify. They're giving me the same reasons today that they can't get started that they gave me over 20 years ago. And I'm like, do you think you could have done something in 20 years? So you cannot raise the dead. You've got to run with the new growth, the ones that are demonstrating that they are hungry and that they want this. So here's the thing, when you get, going in your business and you have the everything going in place, is that we have this fallacy that we can grow this business casually, that we can just share and we're on our way and just share the products and share the services and people are going to like them. The sharing casual way of growing is really a trap, in my opinion. I think it sets people up for expectation problems. and people get stuck because they're trying to manually share and just go with their friends and family and share on social media, and it causes problems. Just posting and praying is a fast way to burn out. I will tell you this. Um, the leadership in your companies or that you see, those people, the top 1% of earners, have a plan to add people to the money list every day. They are actively seeking out new people to talk to. They are developing their skills. They're treating their business like a professional. The posting and praying and hoping and casually sharing, just share the business, just share the products. People are going to love them. Use the products. Be a product of the products. How many times have you heard that? Ugh, because it doesn't work. Yes, you should use your products and your services, but this is the slowest, most frustrating way you can possibly grow your business. The money list, building that will separate the one percenters from the 99 percenters that aren't doing anything or getting good results. Okay. So your next steps are from here is to step back and audit, like, do you have any low-hanging fruit on your warm list that you need to talk to? Get that buttoned up. Now you need to do your mapping out of your money list, your ads. What are you going to do? Where are you going to run them? What's your budget going to be? How are you going to learn how to do them? Firstly. Secondly, are you going to put a referral plan in place? Are you going to do any vendor events? Or are you going to join your chamber of commerce? Are you going to, like I said, I suggest 2 to 3 ways of growing your business. Get really good at 2 to 3 ways. I was really good at offline networking events and trade shows. Like, get me in front of people and then ads. That was my main ways because I really am not a socialite. That was the way I built. So you got to find your path. But paid advertising needs to be in this. It has to be. There's no way you can network your way to the top unless you are like you're part of a mega church or you have massive circle of influence where you can bring people in and just through that way. Okay. So you're going to decide how many people are you going to put on your list every day and commit to that. You've got to launch your new people and have a plan with that. So now you don't need to recreate the wheel. I don't want you to get stuck in management mode, but you have to have a plan. I will highly recommend you use something that your upline or your company has created versus you creating something from scratch, because that also demonstrates to your team that they need to build something from scratch too. But if you're plugging people into company resources and maybe doing your own custom like training around it, or you've got upline stuff that you're using, I would work with what you have versus creating the wheel, but have a plan, like have everything in place that you need to like bring people through step one, step two, step three, and you stick to it and you show them that and then show them that they need to do that. That's how you start to really grow exponentially. Okay. And then you've got to have some basic tracking. So either use your customer relation management software, Google Sheets, however you're going to keep track of people, put in your reminders, your notifications. You're going to do it and have this. Like if you don't track and you don't know who you need to follow up with, you don't have automations in place, you have nothing. You really don't. You will be like me, opening a shoebox of business cards and lists that had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names on it. One of those lists had 300 names on it. I know that. I remember going, crap, I lost out on 300 people. You'd be like me finding a shoebox of people 3 years later when the leads are colder than anything. So you've got to have a way to track, okay? Because every one of those leads is money. Every lead is worth at least $10, at least $10 in income. So I calculated my lifetime value of my customers when I was building my business, and the average person over time in commissions and earnings, a business builder was about $11,000 and a customer was about 5 to 700. That's on average with everybody in the team. So that's money sitting there, right? You just let the money burn on fire when you did that, okay? So if you master these 3 skills and focus on growing your money list every single day, your business is never going to stall again. Your growth will feel inevitable. You will be in a great mental space. You will be encouraged. You won't be wanting to quit. You won't be posting and praying. You'll have a way to go, a map forward, and you're finally building your right pipeline, the pipeline that is going to pay you back over time and bring you through growth. And so you can hit momentum into the exponential growth where you log in and you see your volume was growing by 10, 20, $30,000 a month or more. I've had that happen multiple times in my career, and it's really the best feeling in the world. It's like you're on a high because you're actually seeing the momentum rolling. You're growing 10, 20, $30,000 a month or more when you hit momentum. That's how you know you've built your money list correctly and that you've got that pipeline nice and full, you're nurturing correctly, and you're launching and retaining those people. So remember the three master skills that are essential for growth so that enables you to grow now and grow later, prospecting, enrolling, and launching.